Lil Meech, welcome to VladTV.
What's cracking, bro? Nice to meet you.
Yeah, man. Pleasure to finally meet you. I knew your dad a little bit.
Oh yeah.
And we'll get into that story a little bit later on. But like I'm looking at you and I'm thinking about when I met your dad, and it's such a similar kind of thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they always say that's my twin.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course you got the braids like him and everything too.
Oh yeah, I had these since I was born. All just a family tradition. 7 to the back.
That's what it is. So you were the only son of Big Meech.
Right, I'm the only son. I got 2 sisters though. They live in Detroit.
Okay. Are they older or younger than you?
Both of them are older than me. I'm the youngest.
Aha. Okay. How much older are your sisters?
My sister's almost 30. Both of them are almost 30. They're in their hot 20s.
Okay, and you're what, 18?
Yeah, I'm be 18. I'm 18.
Okay. Because you were actually what, around 5 years old when your dad got locked up?
I was 7, 6 going on 7. Probably just turned 7. But yeah. Just turned 7.
So, kind of put me in the moment of, you got this dad, and, I guess at the time he was just like any other dad, right? You didn't really know who he was or what he was doing or anything. This was just your dad.
Right. I had no clue. Like I still when he went away, my mom told me that he was at that he went to a job interview or something like that. Like just went away for a job or something. So I still didn't have a clue when he went away, but I searched it up myself and actually went on Google and typed it in myself and found out for myself. But I just was always going places. I remember always just being with him everywhere, seeing nice things all the time since I was born. So I always knew that he was doing something. I mean, I don't know, it could have been anything. So I had a fun childhood, crazy childhood.
Okay, so when your dad was out, what were some of the craziest experiences you remember spending time with him?
Man, one time we was at this video shoot and we was in his Ferrari and I was in the passenger seat. He had got out to go do something, I think talk to somebody, and I jumped in the driver's seat and I tried to drive it. I tried to put the car and drive and try to take off, and he had came and stopped me. He seen me. But yeah, we've been through, it's been a lot of crazy, great moments ever since I was little, ever since I could remember. We always been doing stuff. He always took me everywhere. We used to go to Disneyland when I was little, to LA all the time, or in Miami. We always traveled. I've been on the plane since I was born. It's just always been a blast.
Well, I mean, your dad didn't actually live with you, did he?
No, he did. He lived with me and my mom.
Oh, okay. Well, because I know that, your dad moved around, had multiple houses, all different types of places. So you guys actually all moved together?
Right. He had probably, more houses than I could count, but I remember we always used to be together. So him, me, my mom, and just, our other family, everybody that was with us daily. But yeah, we all stayed together. It doesn't matter if we went to Texas to his house or we were in Miami for the most part. But he used to move around a lot, and wherever I used to go with him, we used to go from Atlanta to Detroit to LA to everywhere.
I mean, I remember I interviewed Jeezy a while back, and I asked him to give me his craziest Big Meech story.
One time, hope I'm not gonna get in trouble for this. One time, this motherfucker called me and said, "Yo, Jeezy, we going to Cancun." I said, "Who, Meech?" "We." "Who the fuck is we?" "Everybody. Call everybody you know. I'm gonna call everybody I know." This motherfucker chartered a plane, not a jet, a fucking plane, and took 300 people to Cancun, Mexico. Every stripper in Atlanta, everybody who wanted to go, nobody was exempt, and we flew to Cancun on a fucking plane that he chartered, and the motherfuckers was serving Cristal on the plane, and fucking he didn't want to sit down, and he wanted to fly the plane. No, straight up. The pilot was like, "We're gonna turn around and go back to America if you guys don't sit down." And his whole thing is, "I paid for this motherfucker, I want to fly it." And everybody was on that flight. Juvenile, Bone Crusher, Everybody can, Lil Jon, everybody you could probably think of, and we went to Cancun, and this motherfucker bought the whole hotel. So every night we all get together, and probably like 300 of us, and walk to the club every night. But we went to the same fucking club every night. This shit called The City, and we all get together, 300 deep, all black t-shirts, and we walk to the club, and we had a fucking ball every night. You know what I'm saying? And it was crazy. But he took 300 people literally. And man, when I say that was the best time I ever had in my life, man, I mean, it was fucking crystal as far as you can see. You open up the refrigerator, you would damn near be blind, man. And it was just like, it was just whatever, man. That's what type of person he was, dog. Like, but one thing about him, you can never get the best party experience because this nigga party every day of his life. Like, I promise you, every fucking day. And if it wasn't nothing, he was gonna make it something.
Yeah, one of the big airline jets, yeah. Yeah, he told me that story. I heard that story plenty of times, man. He brought over 100 people on that plane, and they went to Cancun. He paid for everything. They had a blast. I wish I was old enough to go on that trip. He told me that story plenty of times, though, man. He had crazy times.
Yeah, I mean, no one really does that. I mean, people will rent a private jet, or they might buy a few first-class tickets for their friends, but no one actually rents a 747.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so you're having the time of your life as a little kid.
Right.
You know, you're living with your dad, and your dad's got nice cars, and, you know, he's always, you know, partying and so forth. And then your dad gets sentenced, but your mom does not tell you what happens.
Right.
So explain to me kind of like how she told you and what started to go through your mind during that time.
Well, basically, like, I remember it was a day that my dad was leaving, and I remember asking my mom, like, where is he going? And she was like, oh, he's going out of town. And like, just for weeks on, I remember that he wasn't coming back home. I didn't see him, so I remember asking her, like, where is he? And she just always told me that he's on a business trip or he's at work or something like that. And just one day, I just took it upon myself and went online and went on Google and typed in his name, and everything came up, the indictment, everything. So I seen it for myself, and I was completely shocked. But the first time me and her sat down, I brought it to her attention that I knew, and then we sat down and talked about it, and she told me everything, and that's when we went to go visit him in Detroit. And it was crazy. I mean, I didn't have a clue. Like I said, I just used to be with my dad all the time. We used to have so much fun. I wasn't thinking about none of that. That was the funnest part of my life. I don't think I could even have more fun than that.
So how old are you when you went on Google and looked up who your dad was?
And I was probably about 9 years old, 9 or 10.
At 9 years old?
Not even, no, not even. I had to be probably about 11, 10 or going on 11. Not okay. 9, yeah, that was too young. Probably 10 going on 11.
You're not even a teenager yet, you're 11 years old, and here is your father who you worship, right. Just like how every other little boy worships their dad, especially having a dad that's so over the top like your father is. And your mom, did she ever tell you what your dad did for a living or anything else like that?
No, not at all, no chance. She didn't tell me none of that. She told me he was on a business trip. She kept switching the story though. I remember first he was on a business trip, next he was on a job, like he went to a job interview or something she told me.
Well, no, but I mean, before your dad actually got convicted, did you ever ask what your dad did for a living?
Oh no, that wasn't even on my mind at all. I was just focused on having fun.
Okay. But 11 years old, you go on Google and suddenly you have this sea of information. You have videos, you have, newspaper articles, you have interviews, you have a whole bunch of stuff that suddenly is brand new to you.
Right.
How did you react? Did you cry? Did you laugh? What went through your head at that point?
When I got old enough to understand it, like at first, I remember just seeing him everywhere. But when I got old enough and I used to see like one of the I was in 2 videos, the one with Jeezy, him and Jeezy, the Miss Me With That Rap with him and Boo. Miss Me With That Rap shit, we did that video. They did that video, I think in, what was that, Atlanta? I think it was in, Atlanta. Oh, Miami, matter of fact, it was in Miami. And I was on top of the Phantom with his chain on. I remember that video, and I was in the other We Still Here video they did with everybody. That was a crazy video. I still remember that. But I remember seeing myself in those like, man, I didn't even know this was going on when it was happening. I didn't have a clue what was going on. Like, it was so big and everything. As I got older, I kept realizing like how big it actually was and how great of an impact this man had on everybody.